Maybe musicals. So we're kind of reaching the end of this one.
Yeah.
And we thought we might kind of just leave it for a while.
Yeah, just
We're
Yeah.
doing it for...
Yeah.
But do you remember when we did that before and we kind of just stopped?
Oh God. You don't think that'll happen again, do you?
I don't know. It's happened once. I don't want to stop again. I mean...
Please don't make us stop.
I don't know why you're asking him. Does he?
I don't know. I just... just in case.
Focal point, absolutely. So the thing is that even though physically you might be stopped, you can still think. Well, I could anyway. I don't know about you. And it's just... It just never goes away. It just goes on and on forever and ever.
And ever.
So we could just try and string this out as long as possible, but then that's equally as... I was going to say turgid. It's not the right word. Anyway.
Yes.
We should really address the situation and say...
But before we do, I'd just like to say a couple of things. Once again, just because I feel like supporting you, buddy, check out Poltergeist's channel here on YouTube. Check him out on Instagram and watch all of his videos, but especially check out the latest one, Leatherface. And if you're a fan of music, and especially if you like horrorcore, you're going to love this one. And also, because we're back at it again, why not check out the Kickstarter for our upcoming film, Apocryphal, which yours truly will be featured in some capacity. We've got a few weeks left to go, so if you like to go and take a look, share it with your friends, like anything about it that you see, and possibly even consider donating yourself. We'd really appreciate it.
But just be careful if you do decide to donate yourself, to not put yourself in the post, because you may not arrive.
No, I don't think they'd fit.
Oh, yeah. Hadn't even thought of that. And one third and final, very quick shout out to one of our new supporters recently, to Chef Andre Davy, who's, not surprisingly, a cooking channel. Andre is a professional chef who, as far as I can see, works in Jamaica.
Ooh, cool.
And does lots of traditional Jamaican cooking. Definitely worth a look. Some really interesting stuff on there. I do love he did just a little bit of a thank you to his fans and his supporters and subscribers. Him and a friend of his just filming the sunset over the ocean around Jamaica.
Oh, so jealous.
Looked...
So jealous.
So do give him a look, and as always, mate, keep up the good work.
Thanks for the support.
At this point, I'd like to say hello and welcome to Friday's show. We're not going to hang around too long because it is curtained up on Act 3 of The Pervert of the Opera, and it's never a good idea to keep your audience waiting.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. So,
we go to the cemetery.
Christina is kidnapped and taken to the cemetery. The cemetery?
The cemetery.
The cemetery for a confrontation.
Yes. There's a moment in this, and my first thought is when she first arrives, and she's singing to herself, and she's walking towards her father's mausoleum.
What, No More Memories?
Yes, that's it, yeah. And there was something about, and it's to do with the way the film is colour graded, and the setting, and also, not surprisingly, because of the time of year that it's set at shortly after New Year.
Yeah.
My first thought went to Batman Returns, where the penguin goes to his parents.
You know what? You're right. Now I think about it.
Yeah.
It's almost exactly the same lighting and colour grade, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, nice touch.
Have you got anything? I mean, I've got a few things, but...
In a lot of ways, I think the scene plays out, it's what you could have been to me, what we could have been, that kind of a thing. Problem I have is when it comes to the sword fight.
Before we get there, then, you get the moment where she thinks she's talking to her father.
Yes.
And then the mausoleum doors open and there's that red light from inside.
Yes.
And this is the other moment that I could have said, if he could use it over that distance, that he uses the sonic transducer and it just appears in the doorway.
Why not? Because we've already Chekhov's gunned it once. We might as well. Because he's becoming ever more... He's no longer hiding in the shadows. He's no longer hiding his alienness.
Yes.
It's all about, I'm showing you, I'm giving you, pulling out all of the stops, giving you the full performance.
Yes, absolutely. But you were saying about the sword fight.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that there would be this last-ditch attempt to seduce Christina, because, he's tenacious bugger. He's old Frankenfurter. But when it comes to the sword fight, I'm sorry, but he's a lover, not a fighter.
The only thing that I could think with that, if we wanted to keep that in there, is Raoul turns up, draws his sword, goes for him. He grabs the nearest thing that he finds on one of the gravesides, and it's an axe. So, all right. Doing the reverse that we did.
Oh, no, you're right. He does have that violent streak, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was calling it wrong. You're right. Yes, and an axe it should be.
But as you say, though, yes, he's not a fighter, so he's going to get bested.
It's going to be shorter. It's going to be he'll be bested quickly. You use the Sonic Transducer
to get away. Well, they leave before him anyway because she stops him, doesn't she?
Oh, of course, that's right. Yes,
holds him back, stays his hand. That's the phrase I was looking for.
Yeah.
Cool. And then we get the "Now let it be war on you both."
Yes, let it be war. The plan is formulated. And Don Juan begins. No, not Don Juan. What did you call it? A jump to the left.
Yes. A lot of this will be very close, if not exactly the same, the actual performance itself. Mm-hmm. There was a line, and again, I'm sorry, I wish I'd written down which songs I was referring to these to. I think this is from the duet between Frankenfurter and Christine. And there's a line there that says, "Abandon thought and let the dream descend." I thought, again, just a little tweak, abandon thought and let pleasure make amends.
Yes.
With this, I did find one possible breakpoint.
Okay, please go ahead.
But I think I've actually solved it at the same time.
All right.
We get the start of the opera.
Yes.
Audience are looking terribly shocked and confused at people doing the time warp. An operatic version of the time warp.
Yes.
Frankenfurter then substitutes himself for the leading man and comes in, and we get the whole duet thing with him and Christine on stage.
Yeah.
They then go up. I mean, it can be set how they want it to be set, because you got the bit where they go up on the scaffolding.
It would be the point of no return, but it would be staged as if it was sweet transvestite sagging into them going up to the laboratory.
Oh, of course it would. Oh, God, star. Perfect. I could. So
the song would be the point of no return, but it would be staged like it was that part of Rocky, the whole sweet transvestite through to welcome to the laboratory.
Oh my God, that's fantastic, because that last moment is then the two of them going into the elevator going up, which is a perfect opposition to what we did with the floor show and having the Phantom coming down on the chandelier.
Oh, nice call. Yes, good point.
Oh, well done. Fantastic.
Oh, layers like an onion, baby.
But the problem that I had was, and the break point that I was seeing here, is that the thing that throws him off his stride in Phantom is that she unmasks him on stage. But by this point, Frankenfurter is at his full flamboyance. What else is there to unmask?
That's it. It's the point of no return. It's him committing to publicly coming out. He's planned for this. He knows she's going to unmask him.
Oh, okay.
It's all part of his plan. That's why he's written the Rocky Horror.
Of course.
Because once again, it's the cape unveiling the freak beneath, just like in the first act.
But I didn't know whether that was, because again, when he turns up to announce the thing in Act 2, he would already be in that kind of get-up. So there's nothing left. There's no other layer for her to strip away for him to knock him off his stride
on
in
stage.
Act 3.
He's doing it publicly.
Of course he is.
He's doing it in front of the entire audience.
That's better. That's better than what I had, because the only thing that I could go to...
He's tired of the masquerade. And he wants to be revealed. He's done it because he knows she'll unveil him.
That's fantastic. That's even better, because the only thing that I could think of was like the last bastion of the last mask between him and the real world is his white face. Because I was still looking for something, a point where his plan breaks. The only thing that I could think of is the last kind of layer of defence that he has is his white face. So therefore she grabs a sponge and just wipes his face clean, so they can only just see him.
Oh, that's an interesting alternative.
Like yours, because this is the point where we remember he's an alien. He can outthink most of the people in the room.
Yes, this was his plan.
And that's what I like about it, so I think yours works better.
Oh, thank you. All right, well, thank you. But I did like your alternative take. That would have been a nice, neat metaphor for the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he takes her away to... I mean, do you reckon then in this his plan is to take her back to Transylvania? Just suddenly occurred to me.
I want to say yes, because she's the object of his obsession.
And if he takes her back to Transylvania, there's no one that's going to be able to stop him.
No
Raoul, no...
Yeah. Nobody to be jealous of.
Yeah.
So I think yes.
Hadn't even occurred to me until that moment.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I hadn't considered it myself. This bit has literally been going on swinging from concept to concept there wildly through the jungle of no
return.
No return, indeed.
Which means that we get... so it means then the final confrontation between him and Raoul and Christine would take place then in the... We don't know what the best one is. Obviously, in Rocky, it's the house itself.
Yes.
Is he intending on taking the entire opera with him?
I was literally formulating the same response in my head at that very second. Yeah, because it's going to play into everything about him. It's his love of the performative. He wants to take it with him. He doesn't want to give up. He's not happy to just take himself and Christine back. No, he's going to take the entire fucking opera back to Transylvania with him because it's his.
He made it what it is. Absolutely. Fantastic. So we still get the bit with him smashing the thing and dropping the chandelier because he wants everybody else out.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So instead of... Well, I suppose it doesn't really matter. It can happen anywhere, can't it? But we'd still go back to the catacombs for the finale. Maybe all of his controls and stuff are down there.
The lab's down there, so the sonic transducer is... not the sonic transducer.
Machine that goes ping. No, that's something different.
That's the thing that organises them.
The Medusa machine.
Yes.
Which I think we can include.
I've
thought of a way that we can include it. So,
well, you see, I was thinking... At the level of keeping your hand at the level of your eyes is a bit of an odd one. It doesn't quite play into what we've done with Frank. So we need an alternative threat when Raoul follows them down into the catacombs.
I did have that as a question. Do we want to keep the water trap in there or not?
And I like the idea of him moving through the canals underwater and everything like that bit. But the noose bit, keeping your hand at the level of your eyes, doesn't really fit into Frank's thing so much.
Well, what I had put down is that instead of that, when he chains him to the railings and stuff, is there's a setting on the Medusa machine that allows him to Medusize people in stages. So as you've got that confrontation, parts of him are being turned to stone. Exactly.
It's a little bit evil. Gives Christine time to plead for him.
Which did kind of make me think there is a moment here where we can turn all of this on its head.
Right.
Again, it would be, I suppose, a final callback. We do the Rocky Horror ending. Door bursts open, and you get Madame Giry and Meg come in dressed as Transylvanians. Nope, we're taking you home.
You're misremembering. We talked about Madame Giry before.
Oh, so we did. I must admit, I wasn't sure whether we said that she was human or Transylvanian.
Yeah, we did.
We did. I know we talked about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I came away thinking she was Transylvanian and you'd obviously came away thinking she was human. I might have said something along the lines of she couldn't have children on Transylvania and they wouldn't allow her to make... It doesn't matter, but that's fine. That nullifies that idea. Don't worry about that. Cool. But what appeal is she going to make to him? His desire isn't going to be isn't going to be sated by merely with a kiss.
Maybe, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, maybe Christine grows a spine and just knees him in the nuts and tells him it's never going to happen to give it up. Kind of like a Phantom of the Opera version of Wise Up Janet Weiss, but it'd be Wise Up Frankenfurter. She finally stops being the child and grows up into the situation. You're never going to get what you want.
Yeah, that works.
And while we're at it, have her just reverse the machine.
Yeah.
So whilst Frankenfurter is just groaning and rolling on the floor.
But at the same time probably does something to the machine so that the opera cannot disappear. Because it needs to be there in the future.
See, at the other hand, I kind of liked what you were saying about having Madame Giry and Meg burst in and having the it's all over speech.
So that could work. That can be the turning point. That shows him he's capable of all of this magnificence, wonderful and beneficial magnificence. He's created a daughter for her.
Yeah.
It was everything that she wanted her to be. There's nothing wrong with her at all.
Yeah.
And yet you've got this at the other end of the scale. And again, it's that moment where you have to decide, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a man or a monster?
Yeah.
Do you want to be accepted? People will never accept a monster.
I just want to put that line in there, and it's a great line because Madame Giry could say that. It's no, it's over.
Yeah.
Your lifestyle is too extreme.
Which is the thing that underpins the entirety of Rocky Horror. You are too extreme to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it works.
And then he finally gives in.
and disappears.
Yes.
I did think that moment where he's, I know in the Phantom, where he's waiting for the others to come down and he's singing to the monkey.
Yes.
In this case, then it would be, again, as we said at the beginning, it would be that first corset.
It would be singing a lament to what could have been.
Yes.
A little lament to what could have been before he steps into the machine.
Yeah.
He pauses in front of the mannequin.
I'm going to burst into tears.
Which would be one of the first time he kind of does what everybody else does and sings his thoughts rather than speaks them.
Yeah, love it.
Just like a little touch to finally show he has been transformed by his experience.
Yes.
Just feels like a nice little touch just at the last moment. And then, of course, he disappears and the gendarme and soldiers arrive behind Madame Giry and Meg.
I think we need a bit more of an explosive ending because we don't want them to have all of that lovely, wonderful future technology.
It's a bit like when the Phantom goes around wrecking shit and setting stuff on fire.
Yes.
It'd be the same thing, but he'd be setting the self-destructs and stuff.
Yes.
And then he'd get maybe 2/3 or halfway through it. Then he'd pause in front of the mannequin, then complete it, and finally step into the machine, which has been powering up the whole time. And as he disappears, things start going, and you get electrical arcs and sparks and all of the classic mad scientist bullshit.
Perfect. And then we go back to black and white for the very end of the film.
Which, as we mentioned last episode, has a slight change in that when Madame Giry enters her car at the end, in the back seat, but with her would be Meg, looking exactly the same as she did 40, 50 years ago.
The only other thing with this, and I couldn't decide if we needed to do it, do we want anything else in place of the rose?
Garter band.
Oh, God, stop. Straight away, just, yes, of course it is.
A garter band.
Yeah, definitely. And then fade to black and credits.
Indeed.
And now we have the difficult and unenviable task of deciding.
Oh gosh, I'd forgotten all about the actual deciding bit.
Yes.
Well, we managed not to break either movie. I wasn't certain we would, but I wasn't certain that we wouldn't. So that's good. We've got 2 movies.
We do.
Huh. Which one works better?
It's always a really difficult one because we do this straight off the back of doing one of them. So we have to kind of sort of reel back the memory and remember the first one that we did and how that one worked and how that one, more importantly, how that one made you feel. I mean, it worked. I thought it was really good. I thought technically it worked really well. Rocky Horror Phantom Show. Mm-hmm. Technically works out well. Thematically, it works well.
I think you're right. I think it's neater.
But this one moves me.
We did have a couple of little moments there, didn't we?
Yeah. Again, some of this may be because, in terms of catching up for this...
No. That's a valid point. If it moves you, I mean, that's the point of art, right?
Mm.
Any kind of art. So, that's a good starting point. And I think you've got a point. The Rocky Horror Phantom Show was neater, but that's because the structure of the Rocky Horror Show is neater. That doesn't necessarily make it a better story or film.
True.
But you're right, we did catch a couple of deep moments here with the Pervert of the Opera.
And they fit in, again, thematically with the sensibilities of the Phantom of the Opera itself.
Yeah.
It's told from a slightly different perspective, but we still hit those same notes.
Yeah, I think I agree. With the caveat that we understand that we agree that neither of these films have actually been improved by what we've done.
No.
I still think you're right. The Pervert of the Opera is probably the better of the 2.
So that's official. That's 2 thumbs up from us.
There you go, folks.
Pervert of the Opera does take our June, maybe, musical.
Indeed. Our first musical. Inaugural.
Exactly. At some point I will try and get around to putting all of these onto our website as a list, but you'll just have to keep going back and checking. It's as soon as I can do it. But yeah, that's... Wow. That's really cool. I think that worked. I'm sure, I know you probably were as well, we're pretty... I wouldn't say anxious, but just a certain amount of trepidation about how this was going to work because of the format. We've not done musicals before.
Yeah, I was nervous about that too.
Yeah.
We're not musical people in the sense of creative types.
But it does work, and we have a winner, so... What happens now? I mean, we're still here.
We are still here. Well, I suppose it's time to finish up.
I suppose it is, yes. So, again, final reminder, we will not be here throughout July as it's our break. There will still be some content coming up on the channel, not sure yet. I'm working on a couple of ideas and we'll see how those go. So until our pitch meeting at the beginning of August, have a wonderful July. Make the most of the good weather if there is normally good weather where you are, and if there actually turns out to be good weather where you are. And we'll see you in just over a month. Take care.
And as always, guys, TTF.
Sam?
Ba 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 ba.